Southern Cape, one of the most beautiful parts of South Africa with its world-famous garden route, hosts the South African Rally Championship for the first time in 17 years. The Outeniqua forests in the mountains surrounding the town of Nyasa are a natural playground for the adventurous adrenaline junkie, but the area also offers a range of other activities. Nestled between the Outeniqua Mountains and the Indian Ocean, Knysna, the jewel of the garden route, is a preferred holiday destination for anyone looking for sun, sea, fun and games, making it the ideal host for the 6th round of the 2011 South African Rally Championship. The previous round, the Volkswagen Rally in the Eastern Cape, provided plenty of action, with the Longmore Forest stages claiming early victims in Leroy Polter, Charles Wilken and Jaapie van Niekerk. The event was dominated by Mark Cronje, at first chased by Johnny Gemmel and Hergen Pecken. But the former champion suffered a wheel failure that put paid to his onslaught. Reigning champion Enzo Kuhn took up the chase, but had to settle for third behind Gemmel and Cronje, who took his second win in a row. We'd like to thank all our associate sponsors for coverage of this year's Garden Route Rally. Usually this time of year the weather is mild, but at the start of the Garden Route Mall in George, spectators and competitors alike faced cold and wet conditions.
Mark, running second on the road today, that's surely going to be quite tricky.
Yeah, it has actually added a little bit of pressure, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to happen sooner or later. So, you know, we've got to make the best of it, and I'm just happy that I have the package going second on the road. I've got a great package, so it's really up to me, and I've got to make it work.
Due to the conditions and the weather, I think we need to take a cautious approach because it's treacherous out there, it's very wet, and it's raining as we speak. We'll see where we fit in and how hard we have to push. And if we're in reach of winning stages, we'll push a little bit harder. If not, we're going to make sure we get to the end.
First on the road, Conrad Rautenbach in the Greenfields Ford Fiesta, leading the championship as he takes the start of the rally. And he will probably not be happy about being first on the road. Mark Cronje next up. Winner of the last two events, currently in second position in the championship standing. Enzo Kuhn currently in third place in the BP Volkswagen Polo. Reigning champion, of course. Followed by last year's runner-up, Johnny Gemmel.
We've got a very, shall we say, fragile situation. We've got a MSA Court, a National Court of Appeal, which if we win that means that Johnny is leading the championship by a substantial margin. If we lose this appeal, then Johnny goes back to fourth in the championship, where he's starting today. So the scenario is we let him go, and means we have to win all three rallies in which to be guaranteed a good chance to win the championship, or we play it conservative and think that we take it easy and be safe on the roads, because it's a very tricky rally.
Hein Lategan in the only Peugeot 207 to take the start. His teammate Visser du Plessis already out with brake problems. As we go to special stage one, just next to the Mall Destiny Africa, a short one on dirt, 3.74 kilometers long. Very slippery conditions out there. Matt Smith joining me.
It's going to be all about the guys just feeling out the setup of the cars at the moment. First man on the road. We say he famously doesn't like being the first man out there, but what can you do when you're leading the championship? Conrad Rautenbach and Nicholas Klinger out there testing the terrain.
Look at the conditions there as we go on board.
And long max left over bumps. 100. Long 5 right plus slide tightens in.
Pretty tricky conditions as well, because even though they had a lot of rain, there was a lot of standing water, but there was still a lot of grip just underneath that. So these guys were really feeling out the terrain and finding out what the tire situation was and what the suspension setup was to try and find some traction in the short stage.
As we go to Mark Cronje, the benchmark time set by Rautenbach was 2 minutes 26.2 seconds. That's of course the time to beat. How is Cronje going to tackle the stage?
Similar cars, very similar setup as well. Tires is going to be the key situation, especially on a muddy rally like this. Cronje has taken the gamble, gone for the 205s. Everyone else running the 195s, trying to find a little bit of grip through the mud. But as you can see, there's not actually a lot of standing mud. There is a lot of grip out there.
As we watch Enzo Kuhn, Mark Cronje went 1.4 seconds slower than Conrad Rautenbach. And Kuhn also attacking the stage, carrying the number one as the reigning champion.
Meet Max Bridge, 100, turn slow left.
Gemmel then, as we heard from his team boss, Glenn Hall. It's kind of a weird way to actually go into a rally. Do you attack? Do you hold it back? He definitely needs to get a podium, I'll tell you that.
He needs the points, absolutely. And so far, nobody has beaten the time set by Konrad Rothenbach. Gemmell going 3.7 seconds slower.
Rothenbach then trying to get that monkey off his back, leading the championship, but everyone else seems to be building up pace, and he's going to be watching his mirrors for Cronje the whole way through.
Hergenvecken and Pierre Aris, the winning combination a couple of years ago.
Making a mistake, though, on stage number 1, that's going to drop him back. You won't lose too much time in a short stage like this, but you will lose confidence.
Hergenvecken, of course, wants to come back after a rather poor result last time out in the Volkswagen Rally. And I wonder, in these conditions, Matt, whether it is not perhaps better to run at the front of the field.
It definitely is. I think the terrain out here is going to get chewed up. So if you can be one of the first men across there, you won't have to deal with the bog that is obviously going to be ensuing later on.
Vecken going 6.9 seconds slower than Rothenbach. Here is Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich.
20, open left 7, watch cows. And 3 max dips. 3 max dips, 100.
Really not the start that you want, and unfortunately that is just a bad luck scenario. I guess it had to happen to someone, but Wilken will have wished it had happened to someone else.
Nicholas Ryan in the Grand Mark Volkswagen Polo. As we go on board with Jan Habich and Robert Paisley.
Habich's good at attacking early on, so watch out to see what he can do. Should be able to run some good pace on the first short stage. Then we go straight into a long one after that. You can see he's attacking early on.
Into a right 6, tightens to 7, tightens 7, and long left 6. Stay mid over bridge. Long, mid over bridge, C200.
Absolutely spot on there, Matt. He is attacking from the word go.
And that bridge just gives you some idea of how tight things are going to get a little bit later on when we go into the forest. That bridge was pulling your elbows in time.
And he goes only 1.8 seconds slower than Rothenbach.
John Williams and Cobus Frey, second of the Sasol Fords, and we know these cars have got a solid setup. So coming into this rally, it's going to be all about just learning the conditions and feeling out the car setup. They're actually really lucky to have the short stage to get things dialed in.
This gives you a good idea of what the kind of conditions they have to cope with. First time in 17 years that we are in this area, so an even playing field. As John Williams loses about 4 seconds in that stage. Janelle de Villiers now.
Yeah, Janelle is on a level playing field here, and we say that because no one else has driven this terrain. We haven't been here for a long time, so no one's really going to hold an advantage. Janelle de Villiers has got a good chance in these conditions.
Open left 8. Still 100 meters, turn open left 8.
And de Villiers would go just over 5 seconds slower than Rothenbach. Leroy Poulter, who rolled out in the last event and like to come up with a better result this time.
Aggressive driver, very exciting to watch. Heinrich Larticon, first and only of the Peugeots. His teammate out with brake problems, and I'm hoping that he doesn't have any problems, although he will have a car that he can strip down for parts should he need to.
The Pertec Peugeot team have been improving this car, both cars in fact, right throughout the season as they learned the new car. It was the debut season for this car in South Africa, and Heinrich Larticon certainly wants to look good at the end of this event.
Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin, first of the team total cars to come through here, also would run some solid pace early on.
Nice crowd turnout here, and his teammate JP Damso in the second of the team total Toyota Auris cars. These two guys still getting used to the Auris that they debuted on the last event.
And then Namibian Wilru Dippenaar in the Toyota Runex, navved by Derek Jacobs.
And Sebastian Klaassen, navved by Cindy Harding. So after stage 1, Rothenbach leads Cronje by 1.4 seconds, Kuhn in third ahead of Habich, with Damso up in a very impressive 6th position.
From a short first stage then into the longest stage on the rally, this is where the cars are really going to be stretched. Bergplas 1, 23.13 kilometers, lots of hairpins, brakes and tyre setup is going to be key. In the highlands, it's going to be plenty of grip, and we can see that, but when you get down the bottom, it's a swamp.
Charles Wilken currently in 13th position, almost 10 seconds off the pace, after being delayed in the previous stage in the Basil Reed Ford Focus.
Flipping, right 8 at 1. Right 8. And immediate left 7 over grassy. From now we must really try and concentrate on the rhythm. The caution at 9.70.
Wow, really tough conditions there. How did it go?
I think we've broken a shock or something in the back. So
Not a good stage.
To limp the last few Ks.
So it sounded like shock problems. The team are going to have their work cut out, and not a good start to the rally. Then we go back and pick up on team total.
JP Damso currently in 6th position overall, just 3.8 seconds off the pace. And that is a very impressive performance as we go to Hein Larticon currently in 12th place. He's 8.2 seconds off the pace.
The Peugeot looks like it's got a good setup early on. Very wide sitting car as well, so it should be nice and stable. We are going to go into some tighter areas a little bit later on in the rally, but this is ideally suited.
Laura Dippenaar, the young Namibian in the MacArthur Toyota Runex, currently in 15th position overall. And he's been impressing a lot of people this season.
Good debut season, but you can see not an ideal setup on the car just yet. Massive understeer in the tight stuff. Rautenbach coming into stage number 2 in the lead, but he's going to have to work hard to control it because everyone else will push the pace. Got some new suspension parts come in from overseas, so he's still trying to find that sweet setup.
Is narrow for right. Narrow for right, 50. 4 right minus max left, and 50. Narrow max left, 70. Need max left maybe.
A good start to the stage, but the brakes started to cook towards the end and he lost a lot of time.
I just want to go forward. The brakes are... I need to go forward, Nico.
Camille de Villiers now, along with Ralph Pitchford in the BP Volkswagen Polo, currently in 8th position overall, 5.1 seconds off the pace.
Hairpin left to the rough. Max for 600 meters.
He would come out of that stage complaining that he had absolutely no grip and drive out of the corners and was going to have to change his gearing on the car.
John Williams in the second of the Sasol Ford Fiestas, currently lying in 7th position overall, just under 4 seconds behind.
Right one, left 6, narrow tightens to 9. Very slippy. Stay right, left 1.
Well, as you can see from those shots, that's how tight the rally is in the forest, and there's absolutely no grip. So from an open section like this, when we see Jani Habik, then he goes down into the trees where there is just loads and loads of mud and no traction.
Joint third at the moment, Jan Habig, 1.8 seconds off the pace set by Konrad Rautenbach in the previous stage, and he is still very much in contention.
Kuhn, though, he needs to find a little bit of extra pace here. He is running slightly off the back and seems to be having some problems getting up to pace on these treacherous conditions.
That's the man in joint third position with Jan Habig. Volkswagen really trying their best to stay at the pace set by the Fords and the Toyotas.
Well, it's the first real stage, and I've got 2 Fords ahead of me. Looks like we only managed to beat the one, and Cronier took some time off us, so the fight is on.
Leroy Poulter currently in 9th position overall, certainly want to improve on that, but the gap of only 5.7 seconds to Rautenbach.
Yeah, himself, he is on the charge, though. You can see making a little bit of small mistakes as they go into the forest section, and he won't be the first, and he won't be the last for sure, but the aggressive style of Poulter is going to slow him down in his early runnings.
Johnny Gemmell currently in 5th position overall, 3.7 seconds off the pace, and he would like to get up right there to the top.
Turn slow, hairpin right. And easy left.
Gemmell had a clean run there, would eventually go on to finish 3rd on this stage.
Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't bad. A bit tricky, but it was okay.
And the rain's not affecting it too badly?
No, it's all right. It's just slight drizzle.
Arjen Vekken and Pierre Aris currently in 10th position overall. First opportunity for the competitors to really stretch their legs, get into a rhythm, push hard.
Coming into the end of the stage then, they'll be feeding back to their pit crews on the side and getting all the information from the sideline. This is the crew that are going to be telling them where they are in the rally.
Arjen, not a bad time there.
Yeah, look, it's very tricky, and then in the forest it's extremely slippery. So it was a good stage, very challenging.
Marc Cronier coming into this stage in 2nd position, just 1.4 seconds behind Konrad Rautenbach. Will he now put the hammer down?
Double caution, right forward, bad bump. Into slippy hairpin left. Yeah. Bumped up and dip again. Bumped up and dip again. 140, fast, right 3 over dip. 140, fast, right 3 over dip. 60.
Cronier attacked this stage, and this is where he starts to build his pace for the rally. No one else went into the stage as hard as that man.
It was a great stage and I really enjoyed it. It was very technical, easy to make a mistake in there, you'll burn big. It's extremely slippery in the dark hairpins, so you end up understeering into the sides of the hill, so you got to be super smooth.
So Cronier wins the stage ahead of Vekken and Gemmell, which means that Cronier moves to the top of the standings overall, and Konrad Rautenbach a very disappointing 9th in stage 2.
Moving on then to another area of the MTO Forest for stage number 3. Beervlei, an 18.86 kilometer, pretty much a sprint stage.
Yep, starting off with wide open section, fast sweeps, and then tightening up towards the end with some very slippery parts.
Sorry, easy minus left 3 to danger. Dash on to danger. Sakes, danger. Yeah, that's right 2. The bad bump is caution. What else is going to go wrong? We don't want to this bumper, then we can't use it. They've 6 over bump crest, but we can't stop either. Why can't we? Because Nick one doesn't see us. How far? 4.6.
Charles Wilkins saying, what else could go wrong? Well, in fact, I mean, what else could go wrong for this man? Unfortunately, bad luck in the 2011 rally season.
And he would lose more than 3 minutes due to that open bonnet. Jan Habig now currently lying in 6th position overall, 42.1 seconds off the pace set by Marc Renier.
But he's got problems with the car. You know, he could not get the back end around. That means he's probably lost the rear handbrake that they used to get around those hairpins, and that is going to cause him massive problems later on in the stage.
Well, if you can't get the rear around, then of course you lose time, and he would only be 12th fastest on that stage.
Even though I said it was a sprint stage, you can lose so much time on that. Musa just clipping the outside of that bank there. Wouldn't have lost any time. In fact, it kept him on the rails.
Tricky little right-hander there as we go on board with Herken Fecken and Pierre Aris currently in 3rd position overall, 23.8 seconds off the pace.
Heavy front end landing there. Looks like he found a kicker when he didn't even know it was there, and they've got to be careful as well. The front end of these cars have the radiator right at the front, and it looks like he's caused a lot of damage.
Well, it looks like he's going slower there. Let's listen. Yes, indeed. There's a serious problem there for him. As we see Wilrod Dippenaar at the moment, currently in 10th position. And that's a very good showing for the young Namibian.
At the official spectator point, love the way they put them on the 180 turnaround so they can really see how hard these cars brake and accelerate.
On board with Hein Lategan and Johan van der Merwe, currently lying in 12th position overall.
As all the drivers were saying, in the open sections, it's perfect to get the car set up, but in the forest, when you get into the muddy, tight sections where the logs are, so hard to find any kind of traction.
Right, very tight. C70 over gate. Right 6 into easy, left 7, no cut.
And John Williams would go 7th fastest in stage 3.
Did comment it was very technically difficult to get some kind of setup on that car, but it looks like he has found some kind of middle line pace.
That's a good demonstration of exactly how you do a handbrake turn around the hairpin. As Conrad Rotenbach currently in 7th position, 49.7 seconds off the pace, but he is definitely struggling.
He's trying to find some extra pace there. Looks like he couldn't get the power down completely, so he's chasing, trying to stay in the top 10.
It's tight. The handbrake hairpin right, tight. Off.
No gears, and that's going to lose a lot of time. Chanel de Villiers finding a box full of absolutely nothing, and he has lost time.
Chanel de Villiers currently lying in a disappointing 9th position overall, and he would go 5th fastest in the stage. Go to Enzo Kuhn, let's see how he does the handbrake turn. Perfect, absolutely perfectly done.
Uses the outside bank just to keep himself back on the road there. And if you watch Enzo Kuhn, it's all about smoothness and control.
On board with Leroy Poulter and Alvin Coetzee. Oh dear, another little mistake for them there. Things have not been going well for them.
A stall as well, so he is losing a lot of time. Like I said before, very aggressive driving style from Poulter, but he does push hard in the early stages, and that brings out some mistakes.
Yeah, but I think on the other hand, that's what impresses so many people in the rallying fraternity. He pushes very, very hard. Still learning, of course, his first full season in S2000. And of course, he won the Sassel Rally earlier this year. And amazingly, he goes 3rd fastest in the stage, despite that little mistake earlier on.
So Castrol Toyota are finding some pace. Gimmel also improving on this stage. He would eventually go on to get a 2nd place, but still lose time to Cronier.
Johnny Gimmel currently in 2nd position behind Marc Renier as they come into the stage. The Castrol Toyota Auris. And a 22-second gap to make up there to this man, Marc Renier. He's now starting to slowly but surely stamping his authority on this event.
Pushed hard as well on this 18-kilometer stage, clipped a few logs, kept himself on track, but still went on to post a stellar time.
Indeed, Cronier takes his 2nd consecutive stage victory, 11.1 seconds faster than Johnny Gimmel, but look at the battle for 3rd. Poulter and Kuhn separated by only a 1/10 of a second. It's been a long run for the first service opportunity. Lots of cars are damaged and they certainly need some TLC, so let's just catch up with the latest.
raining quite a bit now in this last stage, so it's very tricky. So no, we're reasonably happy with second now, and we're just going to do another one, and we'll see where we are after that.
Today's all about a thinking game, isn't it?
It's incredibly tricky out there. Narrow, rocky, muddy, sliding down the hills with no steering. So this is a day to be cautious, to be careful, make sure we're there tomorrow morning, then we can have maybe a push tomorrow morning.
I've got a nightmare out there for me today. Started off with some cows in the first stage, we had to stop forward. And in the second stage, it seemed like the diff broke, so the car was going sideways all the time. You know, I had no one wheel was spinning up at the back the whole time, so struggling to control the car, and I actually thought the suspension was broken at the back. So I had to do the next stage like that again, and obviously we looked under the bonnet and we didn't close it properly, so the bonnet flew up halfway through the stage. So, no, all in all, disaster. But yeah, let's try to get to the end and see how much points we can get.
I think the aim of this event is to stay out of trouble, and we're doing that. Although we had 2 close saves, especially in the last stage, we spun without even trying in a very narrow, slippery section. But you need to stay out of trouble in this event.
So after 3 stages of this rally, Mark Cronier and Robin Houghton controlling things nicely at the top of the pile, 33.1 seconds ahead of Gimmel. Third place, though, is on the cards. Poulter and Kuhn separated by only 4 seconds.
Conrad Rautenbach in 6th, Hergen Fecken retires after stage 3, while lying in 7th place, and Wilro Dippenaar in a very good 10th.
So after the teams have had some time to work on the cars, they head out to end off day number 1 on stage 4. Karatara won an 18.22 stage.
Car behind the fence this time as we go to Wilro Dippenaar and Derek Jacobs in 10th position overall, but almost 2.5 minutes off the pace.
Nicholas Ryan, the privateer's favourite, just says he's in this rally to try and get the job done. We're always tagging him as a top 10 finisher. He's running just outside that right now.
14th to be exact. Charles Wilkins still struggling. Look at the rear end of that car. Basil Reed Ford Fiesta certainly not handling as he would like it to be. And Wilkins currently 5 minutes and more off the pace.
That's bad job! Right, sec 4. Yes. Jump at max right 2. Jump at exit left 2 of a jump at exit. 6B, caution left 6 over bridge.
It was a jump that caused Vulcan problems in the previous stage. Looks like another one again as we go back and pick up on JP Damso, who is building pace as well. He's got a war going with his own teammate, Musa.
Team total, Toyota Auris currently in 13th position, almost 3 minutes off the pace as we see Hein Ladegan. Johan van der Merwe currently in 11th place, 2.5 minutes off the pace.
No big spectacle from the Peugeot guys at the moment, but remember they are running just the 1 car at this rally now.
Mohamed Musa and the team total Toyota Auris currently in a huge battle for 12th position with his teammate JP Damso. Currently about 3 seconds between the two of them, and this will be a battle royale.
Cronier's teammate Williams had all kinds of problems on this stage. The demister on the screen braking 5 kilometers into the stage. He couldn't see, but his navigator could.
And right 3, very rough. And left 2. C90.
Geniel de Villiers and Ralph Pitchford in the BP Volkswagen Polo now up into 5th position overall, 1 minute 36.4 off the pace.
Left 4. Yes, the left 4. 200. Left 4 opens over Preston mid.
Poulter looking to have toned things down a little bit. Just wants to end day number 1 and stage 4 with a clean run because he's pushed very hard. Made a couple of mistakes in the early running of today, so he doesn't want any more.
Look at those conditions. It's so slippery and rocky also. You must be so careful not to damage your tires and maybe end up with a puncture.
Hubbeck had those handbrake problems in stages 2 and 3. The team tried to make a plan for him, but he was still battling with it in this stage and would go on to lose even more time, even though he was pushing hard.
He would end up 5th fastest in the stage. Enzo Kuhn in that battle for 3rd position with Leroy Poulter. Currently in 4th position overall. A small little gap, that 3-second gap that he wants to make up.
Kuhn, he's going to be in that battle for the rest of this rally with Poulter, so he has to just manage and push where at all possible. But smoothness is what this man is all about.
In fact, he was so smooth that he set the time faster than Leroy Poulter. He went 4th fastest in the stage to move up to 3rd position overall.
Need turn 2 left. Need turn 2 left. 160. Turn 1 right, plus over bump.
Rotenbach trying to manage this rally now. He's dropped out of the top 5. He really needs to end day 1 on some kind of setting, but he's still battling with those shocks.
Absolutely right, Matt. And of course, coming into this rally, leading the South African Rally Championship standings. And he's now fighting for that lead as we go to Johnny Gemmell, who's currently in 2nd position overall, deficit of 33.1 seconds to make up on Cronje.
Gemmell's run good the last couple of stages. He's not too far off the pace of Cronje on the standalone stages, but on the list he keeps dropping back.
And in fast right long, keep fork right. Repeat, keep fork right and a medium right.
Our rally leaders, Mark Cronje and Robin Houghton, leading by 33.1 seconds.
Fitness is coming into play here as well. It's been a lot of long, hard, physical stages, not only for the car, but for the driver and the co-driver as well.
Caution right 9, very tight. The second one, yeah, caution, very tight. And fast left 4 and slippy, caution left 18. Fast left 4 and slippy, caution left 18.
So Mark Cronje takes his 3rd consecutive stage victory ahead of Johnny Gemmell and Conrad Rotenbach, but now certainly stamping his authority on the Garden Route Rally. In the two-wheel drive championship in Class S1600, Craig Trott leads Guy Bottrell by 10.6 seconds. And Christoph Sneyders lies in 3rd. In S1400, Dolf Coetzee making a good comeback, leading in his Toyota Taz by 2 minutes, 9.6 seconds over Henk Latergan.
The Samola Golf Estate was where we ended day number 1 of the rally. It was also Rally HQ. We caught up with the drivers.
Conrad, it looks like you've been able to move yourself up. You're into 5th position now, not too bad.
Yeah, we had a bit of a, I'm not saying issue, but yeah, a little thing, and we managed to sort it out in service. So it's better, but it's just getting the confidence again.
You've got quite a comfortable lead going into the overnight stop tonight.
Yeah, it's a nice position to be in, especially knowing what's out there. So I think tomorrow, we've got a bit of a cushion, and we'll play it by ear. They can try and come back at me, but I think we've got the pace to be able to control the race tomorrow. I think it's just for us to put it all together.
Unfortunately, on a privateer budget, you got to keep the car in one piece and take a chance to go off the road and damage the car. I want to finish tomorrow. We're relying quite well in the overall points classification, so I don't want to jeopardize that.
It was a bit of a tough start. We lost the handbrake through halfway through stage 2, and then stage 3 was a total disaster in terms of handbrakes because it didn't work properly. Very muddy, we couldn't turn the car. A couple of close calls, made it through the stage but lost a lot of time, and tough job ahead.
Day 1 dominated by Mark Cronje and Robin Houghton, going to the overnight stop 42.8 seconds ahead of Johnny Gemmell and Drew Stark, Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson in 3rd.
6th and 7th place is a war for the VW Polo battle. Janelle de Villiers and Jan Habik separated by 7 seconds heading into day number 2, and Mohamed Musa cracks his way into the top 10.
Join us after the break for action from day 2 of the Garden Route Rally.
Welcome to Superfan, the interactive rugby show which showcases you, the fan. Every day we'll be exploring the Rugby World Cup through your eyes, and we'll get to share your thoughts and experiences with us live on air. Facebook,
Twitter,
Flickr,
YouTube,
or supersport.com. Wherever you are, make sure you're logged on to Superfan. Live half an hour after the last match of the day, only on your World of Champions, and proudly brought to you by BlackBerry.
Day 1 of the Garden Route Rally was full of incident as unfamiliar territory and some mechanical niggles took their toll. Points leader Conrad Rotenbach certainly wasn't a happy chappy, while just about everything that did go wrong for Charles Wilkin. Captain Fecken damaged his car over a jump, leading to engine failure, while at the sharp end, Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson and Johnny Gemmell and Drew Stark were trying to find an answer to the blistering pace set by a dominant Mark Cronje and Robin Houghton.
The Samola Golf Estate is where day number 2 is going to be starting in the hills just behind Neisner. Cronje is controlling the lead. Others are trying to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, conditions much better, drier and sunnier as we go into the first of the day stages. Stage 6, MTO Concordia 1, 22.33 kilometers just behind Samola Golf Estate in the forest there. And as we say, conditions much better. Cronje now First on the road, of course, leading by 42.8 seconds over Johnny Gemmell.
Very, very tight stage for these guys to try and navigate through. And although on day number 1 it was wet, it was still raining. Now it's going to be drying out, which causes even more problems. The tires are going to be glooping up. We see Johnny Gemmell smashing his way through what is left of the standing water.
And some great camera shots there out of our helicopter, courtesy of Simona Golf Estate. As you say, Johnny Gemmell pushing very, very hard. Now is the time to close that gap. If not, he will lose the rally.
Kuhn has been very smooth on day number 1. Day number 2, he's going to have to find some kind of aggression, but it is going to be all about survival mode. A very tough rally for everyone concerned.
Almost a minute behind Johnny Gemmell, so he's probably going for third position, Enzo Kuhn.
Kuhn was actually famous for quoting in the overnight stop. He said, "This is all about survival, and it's going to suit a former Dakar champion." So he's tagging his teammate as a possible guy to come through on day number 2.
Leroy Poulter currently in 4th position. He's chasing down that 3rd place. Ahead of him, Enzo Kuhn, and he's just about 13 seconds behind.
Plenty of tight hairpins that caught a lot of drivers out. Poulter, one of the ones that is going to lose time, and he'll be hoping everyone else misses the same corner.
So tight there. He's got to make a 3, 4, 5 point turn before he can get the car turned around. Going to cost him a lot of time, and this is going to cost him a lot of time also in the battle for 3rd with Enzo Kuhn.
It's important on day number 2 to really get those solid finishes. You can see he has actually caused a little bit of bumper damage, but it just looks like it's just the bumper, no mechanical issues.
And in the end, he would lose about 1.5 minutes off the leaders. Konrad Rothenbach in 5th position now, more than 2 minutes behind Marc Grenier, and he's probably driving strategically now. He knows that he's lost his lead in the South African Rally Championship standings, and just wants to salvage some points.
De Villiers also a little bit of damage to the back end of the Polo, but you can see he's pushing absolutely everything and giving it all he can, because he goes on to take a 2nd place on this stage and find some pace on day number 2.
Jan Habig, 2 minutes 43 seconds off the pace. Lost a lot of time yesterday with that with a handbrake and other problems, so he's currently in 7th position.
They actually fixed that problem. It was a hydraulic problem, and he said they got it going, and then 3 kilometers into the stage, the same problem let go again. And on a long stage like this, he lost so much time.
John Williams in 8th position overnight, 2 minutes 58.1 seconds off the pace, so also out of contention as far as the podium is concerned.
Picked up a puncture on the front left, so was nursing his car through. Also, the fire extinguisher broke loose in the car, rattling around, getting under his feet. Can't have been a pleasant experience.
And Latergan in the Peugeot 207, still in there, inside the top 10, in fact, in 9th position overnight, 3 minutes 50 seconds behind the rally leader.
He's going to get closed down today because the total guys are really pushing hard. JP, Damso and Musa, they are on a charge. They're trying to get top 10s for both of their cars.
Well, Mohamed Musa does start the day in 10th overall, a good performance there for the Team Total driver. And his teammate JP Damso in 12th position. He's got Wilro Dippenaar sandwiched between the 2 Team Total cars, so Damso would like to get at least ahead of Dippenaar at this point.
Musa said overnight he wasn't happy with his pace, so he's changed a few settings. Wilro Dippenaar, bit of a surprise package this season and at this rally as well.
That car doesn't sound very healthy at all around that corner.
Seems like a gearbox problem. Couldn't find the right gear. They was pulling out of there in something like 3rd gear.
Nick Ryan in 13th position overall, unfamiliar territory perhaps for him. If he would like to get into the top 10, he's got some work to do.
Very tight on Q-tip and right no cut. Don't use the handbrake or anything. Yeah.
Oh, it's the same hairpin, also catching out Charles Wilkin and Greg Godridge.
You can actually see he could not get the back end around there, no way. He was actually instructed not to use the handbrake because the track is just so tight. He would have put the back end into the bank. So this is erring on the side of caution just to get it through.
Into left 9. Left 9 here.
Wilkin still battling for confidence after a really dismal day number 1 on the rally.
And he would go 3 minutes 45 slower than the fastest car in the stage, which was that man, Marc Grenier. Wins the stage from De Villiers, a very good performance there. Johnny Gemmell loses a lot of time to Marc Grenier. And in 8th position in that stage, Konrad Rothenbach drops to 6th overall.
Stage 7 today will be a repeat of stage number 4 from yesterday. MTO Karatara 2, 18.22 kilometers, and a rapidly drying stage.
MTO standing for mountain to ocean, and look at that view from the mountain to the Indian Ocean. Different conditions than yesterday, much drier. How are they going to tackle it as we go to Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe, currently lying in 9th position overall, almost 5.5 minutes off the pace.
Still plenty of tight, almost off the bridge there, plenty of tight sections for all the guys to get around. And it wasn't actually a front end problem on the Peugeot, but a rear end. That would be the end of Heinrich Latergan's rally, and a very difficult spot for all the rest of the drivers to get around him on.
Very difficult rally so far also for Charles Wilkin, currently in 14th position overall. This is Nick Ryan in 12th place overall, still aiming to get up into the top 10.
And this is what Ryan is so good at, just finishing these rallies. As everyone else drops out, he'll move up the ranks.
Mohamed Musa has now moved up into 10th position overall, 6 minutes off the pace, but just ahead, 7 seconds in fact, of his teammate JP Damso. On board we go now with Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson, currently in 3rd position overall, still holding on to that 3rd place.
This shot just highlights how far some of the straights are before you drop down into the valleys and try and deal with the tight conditions. Kuhn actually changed his suspension setup. He said he went a little bit too soft yesterday. He's gone harder. He's trying to find a little bit more of an extra edge today.
Tricky little right-hander there. In the braking area, it's very slippery and muddy, but he does it so well, does Enzo Kuhn.
Off camber as well, so it's going to be tricky for the rest of the guys. You can see a couple of sections have dried up, but where there has been a lot of moisture, there is just no beating it.
JP Damso and Caroline Swan now less than 7 seconds behind their teammate Mohamed Musa, and this is John Williams.
He had a flat tire on the previous stage, and he only had a 195 spare, so he's found it very, very hard to get around here, and the car has been extremely unbalanced, so not going to be a surprise to see him down on time.
Repeat, easy left plus 450 is turn slow right. 100. Fast right.
Johnny Gemmell and Bruce Turek in 2nd position overall, the gap to the leader, 1 minute 24.7 seconds, and they would go 6th fastest on this stage.
As far as split times go, Gemmell had a very strong time on the early running, but really backed things off towards the end, and that's where he lost his time.
Rotenbach in 6th place overall. He dropped to 6th in the last stage behind Leroy Poulter, and just look at the way he navigates through that little section there.
He had problems on day number 1 with his shock setup, and looks like he's found a good setup here today, because on this stage he goes on for a 5th place to control his championship lead. It's not going to be about winning the rally today, it's going to be about taking some points home.
Our rally leaders, Mark Renier and Robin Houghton, they've got a comfortable lead, and they can now afford to start controlling their pace and not take any chances. 1 minute 24.7 seconds their lead over Johnny Gemmell.
Wouldn't be fast enough to take the win, and they had a couple of moments along the way, so it's going to be up to the guys who are coming on strong in day number 2. Janelle de Villiers goes on to take a 3rd place on this stage, and he has found that aggression that he lacked on day number 1.
Well, he's certainly improving. He's moved up into 4th place overall. Oops, getting caught out a little bit there. That is such a tricky S-bend. Even Janelle de Villiers can be caught out.
Ah, he's good at sand, not the mud.
Slippy, over bridge, over bump, narrow, 70, right 8, no cut, very bumpy, left 9.
The MTO Forest then at the bottom, still not drying out because the sun cannot get to it. That means everyone is still battling for traction in the lowlands.
Jan Avich and Ralph Pitchford currently in 7th position overall, chasing down Conrad Rotenbach, but also seemingly chasing down the best time so far set by Janelle de Villiers, and they would beat it by 2 seconds.
It would seem, though, that no one's going to close down on Poulter. The Castrol Toyota man got angry, made a lot of mistakes on stage number 6. He made no mistakes on stage number 7. He found a great setup early on in the morning. He said if it hadn't been for that hairpin, he could have gone for a win on that stage as well.
This pairing, I must say, getting better and better, apart from 1 or 2 little errors, and trusting a little bit wide there. And in fact, they would go on and win the stage to take their very first stage victory of the rally.
Poulter showing good form on day number 2 to win out by 13.7 seconds ahead of Hubbeck. De Villiers in 3rd, Cronier, our rally leader, down in 4th.
Karatara Village, who hosted the Central Service Park for the entire weekend, and what a colourful picture it is. First chance also for our helicopter crew to take a bit of a rest and for us to catch up.
Yeah, so far so good. We've had a good clean run that first stage, and that was my plan of attack, is just to early in the morning have a clean stage, and we did it, and we came out spotless, which then gave us a good car for the following stage. And the following stage was really tricky. If anything, that was the worst one. It was an absolute mush in there. But we've got the time in hand, so now it's just really to manage it.
It seems when you drive a bit slower, it seems a bit worse. You know, when you're a bit harder on the car and getting everything to spin, you get through the mud.
So no bumper replacement, just carry on going hard for the next 2.
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe save a bit of weight as well.
No, we've had a shocking morning this far. I was too aggressive this morning and went off a couple of times and then lost my confidence in the slippy stuff. When we had a 4-point turn along the way, and then this previous stage now we lost a lot of time again.
it's really tricky judging where there is grip and where there's no grip. So I think that's going to be important now. The next couple of stages coming up. So we just got to really concentrate hard, and stay on the island. I think a couple of things can happen still.
After stage 7 of 10, this is how it looks. Mark Cronier and Robin Houghton controlling things. In fact, extending 1 minute 27 ahead of Gemmell. Leroy Poulter starting to close things down on Enzo Kuhn. Third place is still up for grabs.
Special stage 8, MTO Bergblast 2. That's a repeat of yesterday's second stage over 23.13 kilometers. And a big challenge ahead because this is where the rally can be won or lost.
Long, fast and flowing, and the smoothness we saw out of Enzo Kuhn in day number 1 is going to have to change to aggression because the Toyota is closing him down.
Turn right 8. Now turn. Left 7. Into right 9. Tight. Caution here, 9. Caution. 70. Left 1.
JP Damso currently in 9th position now. He's overtaken his teammate Mohamed Musa.
Musa having problems in stage number 7, stalling in a hairpin, not getting going, then stalling once again, losing over 30 seconds, so he's going to have it all to do now.
Canil de Villiers currently in 5th position, but he's only a second behind Leroy Poulter. So there's the battle.
Turn hairpin right around trees. Into a left 4. Right 3 continues over 80.
And he would go 5th fastest of all in this stage.
That's the battle we're watching on the rally at the moment. Looks like Cronier is almost faultless. 3rd, 4th and 5th is up for grabs though. Rautenbach seems to have found some confidence late in the rally.
Currently lying in 6th position overall and not too far behind Canil de Villiers, although it doesn't look at this point that he's going to be able to catch him as we go to Jan Habig currently in 7th place. In fact, he is chasing down Rautenbach for that 6th place.
Had so many problems with that handbrake. He'll have been nursing the car the whole way through. You can see he's just trying to find whatever result he can with a couple of good stages to end the rally.
Johnny Gemmell with that gap of 1 minute 27.9 seconds to make up on Mark Cronier. Well, it's interesting to see how these two crews are managing the situation at the moment. Cronier's not going flat out. Gemmell, he is still trying.
Cronier has actually had a problem on the stage where he picked up a puncher from a rock. The same rock Gemmell managed to avoid.
On board we go with the crew that won the last stage, Leroy Poulter and Alvin Coetzee, currently lying in 4th position overall, and they've been chased by Canil de Villiers. As I said, just about a second between the two crews coming into the stage.
Poulter's form on day 2 of the Garden Route Rally has been absolutely amazing. A problem on stage 6, a win on stage 7, and he would go on to post the benchmark time and take his 2nd stage win of the rally.
Confirmation of that as Poulter takes it from Gemmell, who takes 17 seconds off Mark Cronier. Cronier's puncture dropping him out of the top 5 for the first time on this rally.
A repeat of yesterday's stage 3, stage number 9, Beerflay 2, 18.86 kilometers. Another very tight but very fast and flowing stage.
No stopping Mark Cronier and Robin Houghton at this point of the Garden Route Rally, and the competition must be wondering what they could do.
Leading the rally then, and the first man to go out on the penultimate stage. He will be praying for the end of today. He has controlled the rally the whole way through. Only had one fault so far, and he should know this stage by now. And the first time we've seen some dust flying. The team actually had a problem with dust coming into the car as well, and causing some problems with vision, but not enough problems to slow them down too much.
Johnny Gemmell currently in 2nd position. The gap is now down to 1 minute 10.9 seconds. Can he close it down on this stage?
Easy left long. Max right. 30, medium left. Easy left long here. Max right, 30, medium left.
When the drivers attacked that stage on day number 1, Gemmell lost around about 20 seconds, so he'll be trying to not lose that much on day number 2.
Turns out that he went 6.8 seconds slower than Mark Cronier on this stage. Enzo Kuhn currently lying in 4th position, only 13 seconds behind Leroy Poulter, chasing down that 3rd position and pushing very, very hard.
He's got to. The penultimate stage with Poulter on form, carrying a lot of momentum from the last couple of stage wins. He is going to have to pull something out the bag now.
Enzo Kuhn ends the stage 9.9 seconds slower than the benchmark time set by Mark Cronier. This is Leroy Poulter. He's just 13 seconds ahead up the road.
Looking for his hat-trick of stage wins on this rally and on the day as well. Day 2 has been all about the Toyota man.
And in fact, Poulter went 10.8 seconds faster than Mark Cronier. Lots of excitement in the crowd there. This is Geniel de Villiers, currently lying in 5th position overall. One of his best performances in the season. But again, that hairpin catches him out.
The exact same hairpin he had problems on. Still pushing hard, found a lot more time than he did on day number 1 on this exact track. So it is drying up, and the driver himself is getting much faster. He would go on to take 3rd place on the stage.
Jan Habig going into stage 9, 3 minutes 30.5 seconds off the pace, but more importantly, about 30 seconds behind Geniel de Villiers as we go on board. Oh, just look at that situation.
Left 7.
And that would be the end of the rally. A bent back end on the VW Polo and dragging logs into the way of the rest of the rally drivers.
That could be a very dangerous situation. John Williams the first on the scene.
You can see there was just no room to get by, and that is Habig on the sideline there. Massive damage to the back end of the car. The end of his rally with only 1.5 stages to go.
He just had nowhere else to go. Would cost him some time on that stage, but not change any positions.
Surprisingly, not too much damage to the front end of that car, so only a slight loss in time.
Mohamed Musa currently in 10th position, or more than a minute behind teammate JP Damso. And Musa would go 6th fastest in this stage.
Poulter then taking his 3rd win on the rally and pulling 10 seconds out of rally leader Cronje. The story was de Villiers, though, in 3rd place, really moves him up the ranks.
One last chance to do some servicing before the final stage of the rally.
Yeah, we went through a bit of a water splash and there was something lying inside there, so I'm not too sure. It must have been obviously a rock. And it clapped the right front, and slowly but surely the wheels started going flat. I could feel it going flat through the stage. And about 5 k's to go, it was basically off the rim. So I was praying just to get to the end.
Yeah, okay, we're in 2nd now, just holding our position there. Now we got this stage long one, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, most of it. So that's a tricky one. This first one this morning.
We've had a cautious approach all day. We're trying to look after the only achievable goal we have this year, and that's outside chance at a championship. So we're not taking risk. We're driving as fast as we have to, but it's getting close now. So I think Geniel's biting at my exhaust pipe.
Now, Geniel, it could have been a lot closer if he hadn't had the same problem as yesterday, getting caught in gear.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like that corner has jinxed me. You know, I came down to the hairpin and went down into 1st gear and made a handbrake turn, and then I was stuck in between 2 gears again. You know, it took me about 10 seconds to find the gear, but you know, anyway, that happened. Otherwise, we had a good stage, and you know, we close to Enzo now. But like he says, you know, they're driving. They got outside chance of the championship.
It's quite a tricky stage, and halfway through they warned us about a very slippery section with these massive logs, and I think Yanni must have clipped a stack of them and rolled them all into the road, and we came around and there was nothing we could do. We weren't even going that quickly because it's quite slippy, and all the logs were straight in the middle, and yeah, we basically knocked all of them, and we're still lucky to be in the rally. We got a puncher straight away and drove through the stage. We lost about a minute, but yeah, it was quite a hairy thing to see these massive logs, and you can't go anywhere, the roads are too narrow, so very lucky to be here.
With one more stage to go, Mark Renier leads Johnny Gemmell by 1 minute 17.7 seconds, but look at that battle for 4th between Kuhn and de Villiers, less than 10 seconds apart.
Final stage of what has been an incredible rally, first time down here for a long time. MTO Concordia 2 will round things out.
And congratulations also to everybody who's involved in the organising of this event. Trying conditions, difficult circumstances, job well done. Nicholas Ryan currently in the top 10 in 10th position, and he will be pretty happy with that, I would reckon.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that just brings it home every single time. Runs on a shoestring budget, but he goes up against the factory key players.
Mohamed Musa and the team total Toyota Auris currently in 9th position, just behind his teammate JP Damso. The 2 team total Auris cars well inside the top 10.
It's also been a turnaround, day number 2 for them. They've really come to the front of the pile and brought home some good results. Williams here, surprised with his team, surprised with his car and himself that he can actually keep going after hitting that log so hard.
Lying in 7th position overall, and he's about 1.5 minutes behind Konrad Rautenbach.
Rautenbach, just up and down, is the epitome of how this rally went for him. A good stage followed by a bad stage, just could not find the rhythm.
does seem to be a little bit more comfortable and confident behind the wheel at this point, though, as we go to Geniel de Villiers, currently in 5th position overall, and he's got the hammer down.
De Villiers and Poulter have been the story on day number 2, really getting up there and swapping out, almost taking a win, in fact, on the last couple of stages.
Only 10.8 seconds behind teammates Enzo Kuhn. The question is, will they be allowed to challenge for that 4th position?
Kuhn, mathematically on paper, he's got to be in it, he's got to get up there, and he's got to take points on every single rally to stand any chance.
On board with Leroy Poulter and Alvin Coetzee once again, currently in 3rd position overall and looking to consolidate that 3rd place and finish on the podium after non-finish last time around. This time looks like the number 13 would be a lucky number for them.
Yeah, he's been absolutely amazing on day number 2. The Castrol Toto man has gone all the way through it and links another win right at the end of it.
Left long, Slippy BB. And fast right.
Johnny Gemmell and Drew Sturrock, I think, now settling for that 2nd position to take as many points as they can get under circumstances. That gap of 117.7, not closable on the final stage.
Number 2 on his car, he will be number 2 on the rally because Cronje has just controlled this perfectly. A stellar day number 1, a great day number 2, and just still brings it home with a strong time on the final stage.
In fact, he would finish 3rd fastest on the stage, just indicating how he managed that situation. So Poulter takes his 4th win in a row ahead of de Villiers and Cronje, who then takes the overall victory. In the 2-wheel drive category, in Class S 1600, Ashley Haig-Smith takes the victory ahead of Chad Colradi and Christos Snyders. And in S 1400, Megan Verlaak takes the victory over Henk Laterman. Highlights of those categories in next week's program. Back to Simola Golf Estate for the finish of the Garden Route Rally and the podium celebrations and big celebrations, of course, in the Sasol Ford camp as they take a hat-trick of rally victories.
The question is, what is it going to take to beat that duo? Because they are dominant this season now.
Confirmation of the final results. Unlike earlier this season, huge gaps between them. Mark Cronje and Robin Houghton beating Johnny Gemmell and Drew Sturrock by 1 minute 31.1 seconds.
The Rotenbach and Klinger pairing won't be happy with 6th place at this rally as they will lose the championship points lead now.
Mark, Robin, congratulations. Fantastic hat-trick of wins here.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic. It's just it's a great event to win. It's extremely technical and such a pleasing feeling to be able to do it.
Definitely, and Robin, it wasn't an easy one from the nav either.
No, when Mark and I started preparing for the rally, we realised, I think from the driver and the navigator side, this is really going to be a challenging one. And, you know, as Mark said, it'd be a nice one to win. It shows that you've got the technical skills. And unfortunately, we seem to have the whole package at the moment. So 3 in a row, still 2 events to go. Let's see what else we can do this year.
Johnny, Drew, congratulations, 2nd place, but good for your championship.
Yeah, obviously, you know, started off being a bit unsure, being a new event and rainy and terrible conditions. But yesterday we had a pretty good day and finished it off today with a 2nd. Now we're happy.
Fantastic. And Drew, how easy was it to keep him in check?
Not too easy, but he's a good driver and he knows what he's doing, and there was plenty of pace notes to call up today, but he kept his head and good result. So.
Alvin, Leroy, congratulations, 3rd place, a much needed finish, never mind podium.
Definitely, you know, as I said earlier, we've had 2 rough events, and I think to come back after where we were this morning, to come back, it was a good result. Thanks to the team, to Glenn and Toyota, really great job, and Alvin did an excellent job. Well done.
In the driver's standings, Mark Cronje goes to the top of the points, 4 points ahead now of Conrad Rotenbach, who drops to 2nd. Enzo Kuhn just holding on to 3rd ahead of Johnny Gemmell.
The Co-Drivers' Championship was super tight coming into this. Robin Houghton now extends his lead by 7 points ahead of Guy Hodgson. Drew Sturrock holds 3rd.
Well, they've got the leader in the Drivers' Championship, they've got the leader in the Co-Drivers' Championship, but Ford still chasing down 2nd place in the Manufacturers' Championship with Toyota leading Volkswagen.
Catch highlights of the 2-wheel drive championship on next week's show when we continue our coverage from the South African Rally Championships.
And we'd like to thank all our associate sponsors for coverage of this year's Garden Route Rally.